Everyone freaks out about one thing: documents in Germany, especially when it comes to applying for German citizenship. But don't worry, in this episode, I'm giving you the core checklist of all the documents you'll need to prepare yourself for the important step in your life: naturalization process in Germany. But quick disclaimer, every federal state in Germany is a little different, so the final list of the required documents may vary slightly. That's why after watching this video, I recommend you do a quick check for additional requirements if you are living outside of Berlin, because I'm living in Berlin and speaking out of experience applying for my German citizenship exactly in the state in Berlin city. And now let's have a look on my checklist one by one. First thing first is ID and residence permit. Without a doubt, you need a valid passport first. That might sound too obvious, but for real, people forget to check the expiration date before stepping into the naturalization process and get an unfortunate surprise last minute. So make sure that the expiration date of your documents is not less than 6 months, or better 1 year, before applying for the German citizenship. And if your documents are expiring soon, it's great because you have now time in advance to handle this process in timely manner and renew your IDs without a rush. The same applies for your residence permit. Either you have a physical card or a sticker in your passport. Make sure it has a valid date and you are prepared for the naturalization process. In case you are applying for the German citizenship because of your marriage to a German citizen, you also need to include the marriage certificate into your documents package. Moving on to the work and income. You need to prepare all the documents related to your employment. And it's not just the payslips. It's more, and that's where people actually get stressed. Because you need your employment contract, all pages, yes. Also, any extension to your contract in case you have signed up any changes to the role. For example, you changed the team because of any restructures, or your contract has been extended. So all these documents you need to provide on top of your employment contract. Also, you need, of course, to provide 6 months of your pay slips. And one more, it's the written confirmation from your current employer that you are actually employed and not quitting. So confirming you have a stable job right now. In case if you are self-employed, it would be a slightly different story. You will need document from your latest tax report showing your income and profit plus your business registration. And if you receive governmental benefits, for example, Elterngeld or Kindergeld or anything else, you'll also need to provide official proofs of that as well. Now moving on to the health insurance. You will need to provide a confirmation from your health insurance company that your medical coverage is active. Yes, if you are publicly insured, you also still required to provide an official letter. I was able to get this confirmation through the online app in my medical insurance company, but check if you can do so. If not, please reserve some time in advance to get a physical copy of the confirmation per post. Next document depends on where do you live. You will need either your rental contract, again all pages provided, or if you are a homeowner, your Grundbuch, the property register. Additional to that, you would be required to provide your address registration confirmation from the state office. That is called Meldebescheinigung. This is really important document because it actually defines at what state in Germany you can apply for the German citizenship based on your primarily living address. And of course, language proof, as you know from my previous videos in the series minimum language requirements, is to have at least German B1 certificate from an approved provider like Goethe Institute or TELC. And if you studied in Germany in German, this is important, at school or university, good news, because then your study certificate may replace the language exam. But I can share from my personal experience. For example, I made my master degree in German university, but it was English-speaking program. So I needed to provide a German certificate on top of that. And another test you need to pass in advance is, of course, the famous Einbürgerungstest. The test that you know how to live in Germany. Yes, this is mandatory, and yes, it's easier than people think. And the good news is that this certificate doesn't have an expiry date, so you need to do this just once and use only when you meet other requirements for the German citizenship. But we will talk about this exam and also German language exam in the next videos in the series, so stay tuned. And the final item in this checklist is of course the application form itself. All your documents I listed before won't make much sense unless they are all combined into the application form. Again, if you apply from Berlin, that would be an online form that you would fill in step by step, but if you do this somewhere else in Germany, it's physical paper with all the questions you need to fill in advance. And as I said, in the next episode, I'm gonna talk about how to prepare for B1 exam in German and of course how to make it smooth and easy and what important steps and tricks you need to know before actually passing your B1 certificate in German language. Stay tuned, subscribe for more, and see you very soon. Take care and bye bye!